Assalamu alaikum, children. Hope you are all good, enjoying your summer break. Uh, as you know, we are doing paper one. In my last class, I was discussing about the preaching of Islam, how Holy Prophet ﷺ preached the message of Islam secretly and openly. So we discussed all the details. And of course, when he started the preaching, the reaction of the Meccans was there. The Quraysh were not happy with Prophet ﷺ's preaching. So today our focus will be on the persecution faced by the Holy Prophet ﷺ, as you see on my screen. I hope the question is clear. So, of course, we will be focusing on one of the past paper question. The question normally is what difficulties were faced by Holy Prophet ﷺ after receiving the first revelation. And sometimes in Cambridge, they give a timeline, like you can see in this question, outline the difficulties Holy Prophet ﷺ faced between receiving the first revelation and the boycott of Banu Hashim. So first revelation means the first year of prophethood, and Banu Hashim means that boycott of Banu Hashim till seventh year of prophethood. Okay, so we can talk about all the persecution that he faced. And of course, another very important thing, it is very obvious, it is saying difficulties faced by Holy Prophet ﷺ. So we are not going to handle the part in which the difficulties of his followers were addressed. Okay, so be very careful about it. Now the B part is why did the people rejected the message that the Holy Prophet ﷺ had brought? Why they rejected? So our main focus will be on these two things today. And then in my next lecture, inshallah, I will be talking about the difficulties faced by the early converts of Islam. So let's go to the knowledge part. Okay. Now, the persecution faced by Holy Prophet ﷺ, we need to be very, very clear that Prophet ﷺ was the nephew of Abu Talib, yes, who was the chief of Banu Hashim tribe. Now, he was an influential personality and people were afraid of him. And if you have a designation, a position, then people are a little reluctant to try to suppress you. So it was not very easy for the Quraysh to harm him physically, emotionally, or mentally very directly. But then when he was under the pressure of his own uncles. Now, his personality, his lineage, and support of Uncle Abu Talib, they prevented the Quraysh for some time from making him the target. So, for some time, he was prevented because of what were the three things? His lineage, because he belonged to the Banu Hashim, and he was the nephew of Abu Talib, who was providing him full support. And another thing was his own personality. He was known as Al-Sadiq Al-Amin, and he has never harmed anyone. So he was very respectful amongst the Quraysh. Okay. So, however, what they did, they approached Abu Talib in the beginning and they told him that you stop uh, your nephew from preaching the message of Islam because it is against the beliefs of our forefathers. All the details are given on this slide. You can take the screenshot or see the details. But when Prophet ﷺ continued to spread the message of Islam, and Abu Talib, he called his nephew and he said, "Oh, nephew, what are the Quraysh saying?" They warned him. So, what Prophet ﷺ replied? He said, "Oh, uncle, even if they place the sun in my right hand," this is a very common and popular saying, most of the children know about it. "Even if they place the sun in my right hand and the moon in my left hand to force me to renounce my mission, I would not stop until Allah fulfills my mission." So, what was his mission? His mission was to spread the message of Islam as a prophet of Allah. This was the task given to him. Hearing this, Abu Talib said, "Go and preach what you please, for by Allah I will not forsake you." So that means Abu Talib showed his full support to Holy Prophet ﷺ. He told him to go and preach. And he said, "I will not forsake you." Abu Lahab, you know his uncle, he was the first to start the atrocities against the Holy Prophet ﷺ. The policy of persecution adopted by them, now they had a meeting and decided that what shall we do? So they now targeted him both physically, mentally, and emotionally. Abu Lahab started physical persecution by throwing stones at the Prophet ﷺ. His uncle Jamil scattered thorns and brambles in the path, and he used to take and would throw filth and rubbish at him. Once, when Hazrat Muhammad ﷺ was offering salat and was in sujood, they placed the fetus of a camel on his back between his shoulders. Now you can imagine how what will be the position of Holy Prophet ﷺ, and what will be the entire scenario over there, that praying is a place where you are always clean, which is a pure place. And what they did, just to take the reaction of Holy Prophet ﷺ, they placed the fetus of camel on his back. He maintained his position in prostration until his daughter, he did not move up until his daughter Fatma Razila Tala Anha came and removed the filth from her father's back. So in this answer, we will be writing the different events. Of course, we will not be able to cover all of them. In a 10-mark question, the length of the question, as I told you earlier, it is 250 to 300 words. So our answer limit, we can exceed to 300, or some students who have a very good speed of writing, they can even move up to 350. But the matter should be relevant, the knowledge should be relevant. Now, apart from the physical tortures, the Holy Prophet ﷺ was called insulting names by the Quraysh. The Abu Lahab's two sons, their names were Utbah and Utbah. They were married to Holy Prophet ﷺ's two daughters, Ruqayya and Kulsum. They, in order to cause distress to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Lahab told his son to divorce both of the daughters of Prophet sallallahu. This was a kind of psychological torture on Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the third event I'm talking about, when Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's second son died, his enemies, they showed him, they showed all their happiness and delight over the event. Rather than consoling him and showing sympathy to him, they were very happy and they started calling him Abtar. You know, Abtar means, since Holy Prophet ﷺ had no son alive, so a person with no son is known as Abtar amongst the Arabs. Okay. Now, they even tried to bribe him with the offer of marriage to the most beautiful woman of the land and unlimited wealth. They just tried to examine that, yes, if he needs wealth, we can offer him wealth. So they offer him the most prettiest, the most beautiful woman, and the one who is most wealthy, but to which Prophet ﷺ turned down. So they tried all their ways, but they were not successful in getting their objective. Okay, a very small portion we have to cover in 250 words. Now I'm moving to the B part. What was our B part question? Let's see the question. Why did the people rejected the message that the Holy Prophet ﷺ had brought? Now, the question comes that when a person is so respectful and he is so honored by the Quraysh, and he is under the influence of Abu Talib, Even then, what was that which was making them so stubborn that they were not even ready to listen to his message? So, or in, I have changed the wording here. Why do you think why the Quraysh reject the message? Now, there are different reasons that you can elaborate in your answer. They could not tolerate that the belief of their forefathers were being challenged. Okay, to of course you will not write your answer in points. You will write your answer in a narrative paragraph form, and remember that the B part answer is only reasoning and analysis, so it should not be descriptive. Now there is no need to write the what was the belief of their forefather. You will just write you have given the reason that they could not tolerate that the belief of their forefathers were being challenged. And of course, even today, we see in our families, if we are following something wrong out of our religion, doing different rituals, like in Shab Barat, what we do, and Eid Miladun Nabi or Muharram, the rituals that we do are not a part of religion, but we do it because our forefathers were doing. So we are so inclined that we never wanted to challenge it. So they were also the Arabs of that time. Even being a Muslim, we do not bother to study and find out the reason behind it. So, how can we expect from them? Okay. So, they were they thought that he is challenging it, and their forefathers' religion were the idol worshippers. So they, number two, they were not ready to break themselves from the shackles of their strong beliefs. As I told you, that even today, being Muslims, we are not ready to come out of the even the wrong rituals or customs that we have adopted because of some cultural pressure, like our weddings, our deaths. They have few rituals, and there are very few people who are bold enough to challenge those things and realize that it has nothing to do with the religion. So what I am saying is just for your understanding. I do not mean to say that you write in your answer. Here you will only write that why the Quraysh rejected the message. Okay. Number three, they believe that if they believe in one God, they will lose all their authority, wealth, and their privileges. Now, what were their privileges? They were the custodian of the Holy Kaaba. They were receiving gifts every year from people who were visiting the Holy Kaaba. And they thought that if they will break all the idols and they will stop respecting their so-called idols, they will lose all their prestige and the wealth they are gaining because the people used to come with all the gifts, and it was a great honor for them. Since they were the custodians, the caretaker of the Holy Kaaba and the idols around them, hence they will lose their status. So I have given only points, and I expect and I know, I'm sure you can write it in a B part answer in a form of a paragraph, not exceeding 8 to 10 lines, giving the reason, evaluating your reason, and even if you want, you can show it to me in your message, and I am ready to check it out whether you are on the lines as prescribed by the Cambridge. So this is all about the persecution faced by Holy Prophet ﷺ. And then, inshallah, I'll be moving to the next video on the persecution faced by the Prophet ﷺ's followers. So, Allah Hafiz till that time, and see you again. Enjoy your day.